Good evening. Before I begin, I have a message. This is from David Reel. I have a message for Mr. Morgan from David Reel, author of Measure M. He couldn't be here tonight because he had family obligations. He wants to thank Mr. Morgan for stealing his Measure M signs that had saved Mr. Reel the time prior to the election. Also, he says he feels that next time you, Mr. Morgan, would like to steal the signs, please wait till after the election. So that comes from David Reel. I'd like to say a couple words. You know, I've been back, I was a long-time resident in this community. And, the ethics, the conduct, the behavior of the city council and what went on was really unacceptable. Jan had literature. It wasn't marked. Kevin had signs. And then Mr. Morgan. But before that, let me just say a couple words before that. I came back. I was referred to as a hick from Texas by you, Mr. Morgan. Then you basically showed up at the farmer's market and you said I should be locked up because of my signs. Then you went on social media, Mr. Morgan. By the way, I was at Chevron when you went in and talked to Maria, the manager, and you've been there several times looking for her because you said you were the city, somehow the city code enforcement, and you wanted the signs removed. So they threw them away based on you. Then it happened at Vallejo down there where I confronted the owner, and he said that he was paid $50 by you. Then over here at Vallejo, sir, at Vallejo down here, they said you were in and you were dressed like a transient, and you said, hey, the sign's got to go. Then we talk about 7-Eleven. We can talk about Pizza Hut. Here's the thing. You're a disgraced to office, sir. Everything that you've been doing is unacceptable. And, I asked the city attorney for investigation. You know what I got? No phone call. I had to go into Jeffrey. I said, like a phone call. I asked the city attorney, I want to have an investigation. I can't talk about it. I have nothing to say. You know something? You're a city councilman. This is the worst behavior I have seen from any city council in all the years. No city council treats people like this. I don't like being walking back from the audience and him calling me a nasty, vulgar comment, and nobody responded, and it's online. You know something? I can't believe the behavior this year of the city council. No wonder why two of you are leaving. I got to tell you, I don't like it. I don't like being treated this way. I don't think we need new rules and new regulations. And I hope the new people coming on board will say no council members allowed to go to any place and say they're code enforcement, police officer, or whatever term you want to use. You do not go to a home and business and do that. I asked for investigation, and maybe one of you want to explain to the people in the audience at home why you wouldn't conduct that investigation. I'm all open. Bring it on. Let's talk to the businesses that happen. Unacceptable.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak to us on an item that is not on the agenda?
I'd like to respond.
I'll give you 3 minutes, the same as he had.
Yes. Number one,
please start the clock.
What this gentleman is saying, he doesn't even live in this city. He's here. I don't know why. Don't talk. You had your say. $50? Let's go and talk to the gentleman who owns Valero. He already told you. He said, no, Mike never did that to me. He's the one that, don't talk. You lied when you said that. And I've never stolen a sign in any election ever. If you want to try to find some proof that, you just tell me. What you've been saying around this community is negativism that's hurting our community. Because the things you're saying, the chair, you took a picture of me moving. The man who owns the place said, you put that chair in front of my sign. All I did was move it over. Now, there's things that you're doing that were just very, very, very bad for this community. And you don't even live here. And I don't know why you're here. But all the stuff that you're doing, trying to set up things where you could do those kind of filming. And Valero can testify. If you want me to bring him in here, I'll tell you. And he no money. He and I were talking about him rebuilding that gas station. We were there. He asked me to come over. Then we saw your signs and said, no, I didn't want any signs up here. I said, that's your property. I was leaving when he was bringing the signs down. And you happened to be there and took the picture saying I was part of it. I wasn't. Anyway, there's many things like this throughout the community. There's signs from the other community. Teasdale sign, running for office in Thousand Oaks, where you live. And another one called Click or something from Thousand Oaks, for city councilmen. And they appeared here and were placed in front of our signs. Now you wonder where they came from. Why did they come over to Camarillo? There's a lot of question marks that you bring to this community. And saying things like, I stole signs, never in my life have I stole signs. Never. I can't say it about you. Remember the film I got of you stealing mine? You won't remember that, will you? But I got that film. I got a copy of it if you want to look at it. And then when I told you if I see another one, I'm going to turn it in, no signs disappeared. It was great. But anyway, I'm not going to say any more. I'm just tired of this.
Next speaker is Terry Bray.
Wow. Terry Bray, Lamplighter Mobile Home Park. I just got a few things to say. I didn't write anything down, but what was just said, what was just exchanged, I find very alarming. First of all, Mr. Morgan, it's very inappropriate and unprofessional of you to diminish the value of any American citizen exercising their freedom of speech. And regardless that Mr. Lorimer no longer has a formal address in Camarillo, he has immediate family in this town. He was here for over 2 decades. Yes. He cares. And he brings up whatever he feels like he brings up because that's the American way. We have young people here in the audience that just got an example of how somebody in your position should not diminish anybody that makes a point about caring in this community. That's the bottom line. So shame on you for that. Mm-hmm. I want to say, Jan, I'm going to miss you greatly. It's a compliment when I say you're a bulldog. I've seen you in action, and when you say that you have something that comes up that you don't agree with, you had the tenacity to say, I don't agree with that. I think we should look into that further. Now, did things go in a way that I wanted it to go? No, often it didn't. But I want you to know I appreciate that. I really do, and I'm going to miss that. Mr. Morgan, I used to call you a friend, and I am glad you're out of here. I am glad. You have turned from who you used to be and who I used to respect to somebody that had to be told by the district attorney that you are not above the law. In regards to the Fiesta Association, hiding that embezzlement, the other embezzlement that I've mentioned recently that came out way before that you never brought up, you never rectified, and that's the main reason that I resigned as treasurer of the Fiesta Association because of those shenanigans. And there's people on the board of the Fiesta that know what I'm talking about. So the reality of who you used to be and where you are now, I'm glad you're leaving. I really am. And the people have spoken clearly. In regards to Lamplighter Mobile Home Park and how you tucked your tail in between your legs to lead the lack of charge for a rent stabilization ordinance, starting January 1st, the move-in rate is $1,515 and $150 a month for sewage, trash, and cable TV, which they technically can't charge for. Mm-hmm. So an average family is now going to be spending about $3,000 a month to live at Lamplighter, and it's going to continue going up. So thank you for your lack of support. Thank you for your lack of action, because you used to be an advocate for Lamplighter Mobile Home Park, and a lot of people have been hurt by the lack of action for an RSO. So, Jan, we're going to miss you dearly. Mike, see ya.